All right, so let's deal with some spacing issues about how to handle that well. So we'll do day 2. Let's do spacing. So if I do 2 new lines like this, this is a new paragraph following 2 returns, okay. And then I can hit compile and see what that looks like. And so that's what you're talking about, right? All right, so now try this, backslash, backslash, and then 2 new lines. Using 2 backslashes to finish the paragraph gives some vertical space.
I was looking that up on the homework, and if you do like backslash BAR.
Okay, right, yeah. Now notice what this is, it's happening here though too. Some vertical space, everything I have is 1 line. So let's, and this is more text to fill out some space. What else do I need to do? How much do I need to type? So do you notice that these things are all actually indented? You can't tell that until you actually like type out stuff, right? So typing over here, notice how we have each paragraph indented. Part of the philosophy of LaTeX is that you're supposed to just be focusing on the content and not on all these different features about like when am I supposed to indent, when is there like is there 2 spaces after a period and all that kind of stuff that people used to worry about, especially when I was in manual typewriters and stuff like that. Like just worry about the content and then LaTeX will figure out a bunch of other stuff for you. And so you're supposed to indent new paragraphs. We'll just do that for you automatically, not make you have to think about it. You just type your stuff in. But then of course there's times like I really don't want to indent the beginning of my paragraph, right? So so let's go ahead and put 2 backslashes here to start a new line, and then I'm going to copy the same paragraph just so I can see the effects of it. So notice the use of the quote no indent command. All right, so now come over here and do backslash no indent. And that's going to keep me from indenting on my new paragraph. So if you want to force that, you can, yeah.
So like on the side, how do you, so for me, the more is like taking out like the middle or the paper, they like expanded more, like the outer.
Oh, like
Indent pages on the outside.
so on the actual PDF, you're saying? Okay, yeah. Tech comes with super wide margins, right? Is what it comes down to, right? Yeah, the margins on the standard tech document are super wide. And again, that's back to a certain philosophy that says that the standard Word document is absolutely terrible in terms of comprehension of like true documents. The line's too long, you read too much, your eye has strain coming back over, whatever. There's like philosophies behind all this kind of stuff. So tech went ahead and just said, we're going to make the margins wide and make the text width narrow. That was going to be a topic for like day 3, which we can talk about now. Well, let's punt for a little bit, and then I check my outline real quick to make sure that I'm saying the right things. I think it's day 3. Yeah, right there. Geometry package to handle layup. So if we get to it today, we'll do it, and if not, we'll punt for a little bit. One of the effects of all this is that if you go and pick up certain math books off the shelf, like say in my office, I can pull off math books and say, this one was typeset with LaTeX, this one was typeset with LaTeX, this one was typeset with LaTeX. The way I know is they all have the same font, which is this font right here. And they all have wide margins, all this kind of stuff. Like people didn't mess with anything. Just like you can take a lot of documents like, oh yeah, this was made with Microsoft Word, right? Because back when I was your age, my old man voice, everything was typeset in Times New Roman, right? That was just everything. I was like, yep, that's a Word document right there. So there's certain things here, and certain things are a little bit trickier to adjust. And so I will show you Monday, if not later on today, how to do some stuff. So some things that here, notice right here, I put quotes around indented. You notice that they're not right? Those are both close quotes. So that's annoying. So right here, I'm going to get rid of these marks and look next to the number 1 on your keyboard. Go to the left. Use those quotes. Those are open quotes. Make a difference. You see that? I'm OCD about certain things. When people apply to become teachers in the math department, oftentimes they do all their application materials in LaTeX, and it drives me nuts when they can't figure out how to use quotes right. Like, I want to throw your application out right then and there. Just garbage, right? Just learn how to hit the right key.
Why is it like that?
It's a good question. I think it has to do with basically the philosophy of it's a computer science program in which this key means this thing. We're not going to interpret it for you. We're not going to change it for you. If you want to do it wrong, we'll let you do it wrong. This key means this thing, right? Whereas Word wants to help you all the time, which oftentimes is super useful. And then if you ever want to use the wrong quotes for something, good luck trying, right? It's a pain to get it to do. And there's times where I've had to do something different that I end up having to make these quotes floating in space and then go back and tack words onto the side just to get it to look differently, whatever. I think that's probably the reason behind it. All right, some other things that people did, trying to think what I asked you to do. And in fact, this no indent command, I put it in quotes, that's fine. What I would like to do though is like represent words in a way that are different than just the words. Like, how do I bold something? How do I do italics? How do I, that kind of stuff, right? So here we go, new line. Let's change the font face. So in order to get things in bold, I'm going to do \text BF for boldface. And then notice that Overleaf wants to help me with these curly brackets. So I hit tab right there. I can put this is in bold. Yeah.
Are we allowed to go to like the rich text?
You know, I've never looked at the rich text side. What does it look like? What does it do?
Basically, it kind of makes it look
Oh, that's like a kind of, yeah, it is kind of preview-ish, isn't it?
There's things like when you use like type an equation, it actually shows the equation itself, doesn't show like total equation.
Oh, really? Well, that's cool. I actually don't use Overleaf all that often. I prefer, I guess, using the programs on my computer. So this has features that I don't fully know about. And when I first started using it, I just get really annoyed because it keeps wanting to help me. I'm like, I know what I'm doing. Dang it, leave me alone. But I'm getting more and more used to it now. Yeah, by all means, do it. All right, so then, well, if I'm in rich text, how do I get to italic stuff? What would I do?
You just like highlight something that's
Oh, there we go. This is in italics. Go home and click the italics button. Look at that. There we go. Yeah, so I was going to show you the text IT command, was what I was heading for. And then, well, I'll go back to rich text and see what it has here. What other commands do they have? Pi, is that like math, inline math, more? Oh, look at that. Does it do underline? Is that an option? Yeah, underlining. This is back when I was doing the calc book, I got really into typesetting, like what makes for good typeset stuff, whatever. Underlining is like typesetters hate underlining. It's bad. It's because you have all these characters that go below the line, and how do I underline through a G that has that little tail hanging through there? It just looks bad to have a line through it. But it also looks bad to try to then like put a line underneath that, or to like break the line, whatever. It just never looks really good. And so underlining is great to do by hand, but to typeset it is just like two true typographers no, don't do that. So this is the other one I wanted to show you. Text TT for typewriter. This is good for code. That is what's called a fixed width font. So on Word documents, it's what? What's it called? When you're on Word and you want to do something that's fixed width. I don't know if you ever do or not. Can't come up with this C one. But this is the old typewriter type font where every character takes up the same amount of space on the piece of paper. So if you ever want to really line things up, you could use this kind of font. Whereas on most fonts, I's are narrow, because there's hardly anything there. W's are really wide and that kind of stuff, right? And so text TT is good. So it's a good place of putting in like text TT, the no indent command. It's a way of making that look different when you're talking about it. It's good for coding, right? Is everyone good with all that? So now you know how to do bolding, you know how to do stuff, italics, whatnot. Let's do some math stuff again. We talked about math being double dollar signs if I want to separate it. There's an alternate way that I think Overleaf might like better. No, not even then. You can use backslash square brackets instead of double dollar signs too, if you want to put some math inside of something. So for instance, if I want to do an integral symbol, and I know some of you haven't had calculus if you're like IS and history majors, whatever, but backslash INT gives you an integral. Let's say that I want to do the integral from 0 to 1 of something. So underscore 0 caret 1. And then I don't have to put it in that order. It'll be fine either way. What does that look like in rich text? Oh, look at that. That's cool. All right, so underscore 0 to 1 of, we talked about fractions, didn't we? Last time in class or no? Okay, here we go, fractions. Let's do frac for fraction. And then notice that it has two sets of curly braces. It's like an autocomplete for me. What is the philosophy of the curly brace? What's LaTeX doing within curly braces? Exactly. Everything inside of a curly brace gets treated as one thing. So text boldface curly brace, put boldface in everything in the curly braces, right? Caret curly brace stuff, put all of that as an exponent. Here, it's going to be a numerator and denominator. Everything inside the first curly brace is my numerator. So we could do, say, backslash cosine of x. And then in the denominator, we could do, like, say, x squared plus 2, 1. And then here's a new little character for you as well. If you just do a backslash and nothing, it gives you a small amount of space. And then I'm going to type in dx. You having a hard time seeing that back there? Come down here and change this to 18? A little bit better.
How do you do it?
Infinity. Let's go from 0 to infinity. My daughter tried to get me on Discord the other day because we have a Minecraft server and a bunch of her friends get on Minecraft together and they get on Discord with playing Minecraft. And I'm also on the server. And so she's like, hey, you should get on the server with us sometime, whatever. She's still at the age where her dad's cool. Well, I mean, I'm always cool with everybody, but still, right? And so she's trying to show me, and I honestly had that feeling of like trying to show your grandma how to use her iPhone. Hey, Dad, do this. You're like, I have no idea what you're doing there. And then you can make your own server and do this. But I'm like, what's a server? I mean, I don't know what that word means in the context of Discord. What are we doing here? Whatever. And Dad, you can chat the bot by saying play this or whatever it was, and the songs start playing and whatever. And so I try to click on the bot and like, Dad, not there. Put it over there. I'm like, no man, right? So then I thought I got to come up with my icon, my avatar for whatever. So I try to put an infinity symbol in there, but it ends up looking like just a pair of glasses. Like it was a poor choice. I got to change it now. So long story short. Yeah. Now, what if I wanted to put a period at the end of my integral or whatever, like it's the end of my sentence? What would I do? So I could do this. Here is an important integral, colon. There's my integral. I saw some people putting the period right here, which makes sense, except what happens? It puts it on the next line because it says everything in here gets put together as part of the integral, and then you have this period floating off the side by itself, right? So whether you're using double dollar signs or not, put it inside the math, and then you'll get it. Everybody good so far? All right, so now a couple more things to do. One of them is to say that LaTeX in tech is all very, very powerful, but it's also like a computer program. If you ever programmed in like C++, Python, that kind of stuff, you're constantly importing other libraries and things like that. Like there's the core thing that it can do, and you can import all these special libraries. The same thing happens in tech. Other people have written what they call them packages that can do certain things for you and faster. So I was going to show you what's called the geometry package on Monday, which helps you do the margins better. The package to show you today is this. Up here under document class and article, / use package AMS math from the American Mathematical Society. They wrote a whole bunch of useful functions. This is effectively loading a library, or I guess the library is what Python and C++ use. Whenever you have a question about how can I do this, if LaTeX doesn't do it natively, then someone's already written the package to do it for you. It's kind of how it is in C++ and Python, right? You hardly ever have to reinvent the wheel. All right, one of the things to talk about then too is the fact that the ampersand in tech is an alignment character. Things line up with it. So here's the command that I wanted to show you. If you're going to do a lot of mathematics, a lot of equations, then having your equations aligned is pretty handy. So there's a command called begin align. You see it coming up right here. And I want the version with the star. And if you want to, get rid of the stars in both places and then compile it and see what looks different. But what we're going to do is we're going to start off writing a series of equations. And so I'm going to give you a handout in a second, and the handout starts with this. F prime of x is equal to something. And I'm going to say F prime of x is equal to this, which is equal to this, which is equal to this. There's a bunch of steps in a row, kind of like you would do. And I want all of those things to be lined up together. Some of you guys solved for your quadratic equation and you didn't do it wrong, everything's great. But you would do like double dollar signs here and then double dollar signs again and again and again. Everything was centered and it looked fine, no doubt. But having these equal signs looks pretty cool too. And it's actually a little bit easier to do because you have fewer of these double dollar signs. So what I'm going to do is put an ampersand right here, equals, and that's going to be an alignment character. It says, after this ampersand, whatever character comes next, I want to align everything to it. And now we're going to do the definition of the derivative. All right, and I have a sheet of paper to show you. Actually, might as well pass this out right now. Hey, you folks at home, if you go to Canvas, homework number 2, click on that, pull out that handout there, and you can look at it. All right, so we're going to go through the definition of the derivative. Down there, this is a page out of the calc book. Just the font's different just because we use our font. How do I get started writing that stuff there? All right, so I need a limit command, right? You see it down there? I've got f prime of x equals. So limit looks nice. So it must be a \lim command to actually do a limit well. And then I want to put something underneath it. So it's going to be underscore. So the underscore oftentimes puts things as a subscript, but the limit command is special. It knows it wants to put it underneath it. It's pretty handy. But I want to get all that stuff in the under part. So what do I do to make sure I get a bunch of stuff together underneath? Curly brackets, H, and then I want that little right arrow. The right arrow is cleverly described as, you can use a \right arrow, or I can just use the word to, as H goes to 0. I can either use to, or you can also, if you want, you can use right arrow, which is, more descriptive, whatever it is. It's also more typing. So people have also just said, hey, let's make a to command. And now I have a fraction, right? So frac of, in my numerator, I have f of x plus h minus f of x. And in my denominator, I have this h. And I'm going to compile that just to see what it looks like at the moment. Yeah. How do I, comments? Yes, comments are behind percent signs. This is a comment. Yes. Oh, I put my comment in the wrong spot here. I didn't realize the line had not ended there. Okay, now I'm gonna get rid of this one. It's too confusing on my document right now. But I want to get a new line for my align environment, \\. Come over here, and the next thing I want to do is say equals to, and then I'm going to do some more math. And I'm just going to do this lim. I'm going to copy and paste real quick. Just all of it. Now, obviously, I just did the same thing over and over again, but you can see the idea what's happening, right? it's aligning everything by those equal signs because of this ampersand right here. It tells it where to align. Make sense, everybody? Have questions in particular about anything? I think you know enough how to do this whole document now. Some of it's just flat out typing some stuff. Some of it's like doing some mathy kind of stuff, whatever. So go ahead and type it out. Same submission rules as last time. Will be due by class next time around on Monday. Upload the PDF so I can look at it fast, but also email me your source code. That way I can see what you did if I have questions about it. If you run into errors, call me over here. I can help you out. But I think you know how to do everything that's on there. And you folks at home, Michael, Isaiah, Sammy, can't see your faces obviously, but you can start talking to me or put something in the chat if you have a question for me. I'm going to stop recording for a while.